automating the ordinary so that you can focus on the extraordinary.
Just work 4 days, and that 5th day I can work on like personal development, because if you're touching something 2 to 3 times, it's maybe time for you to go ahead and automate.
Audit, automate, delegate, eliminate so you can elevate.
I just read up 5 hours. Like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of me working on this every single day for a total of 1 hour every day for 5 hours, I no longer have that. That's clear time on my schedule. And so now I was like, oh, I'm available to do more like revenue generating things. If you're always busy, you're probably not building.
Based on you listening to this podcast, you're probably a creative entrepreneur who's ready to stop hustling for clients and start building a business that runs on purpose, profit, and peace.
If that's you, we want to invite you to join the Creative to CEO Challenge, a 5-day live coaching experience designed to help you shift your mindset and develop the habits to turn your creativity into consistent cash flow.
And it's all happening live on Zoom inside a private community of ambitious creative entrepreneurs just like you. People who are done guessing, done grinding, and ready to build with clarity and confidence.
By the end of the challenge, you will have a crystal clear direction on your next 90 days, a profit plan that fits your lifestyle, and the framework to start earning 10K plus months doing what you love without burning out or selling out.
So if that sounds like what you need, then tap the link in the description or scan the QR code if you're watching this on screen. And do not forget to upgrade to VIP for bonus coaching and behind the scenes Q&A every day of the challenge with me and Shy.
We can't wait to help you unlock CEO mode and the freedom you've been working for. Now, let's get back to the episode.
If you're always busy, you're probably not building. What's up, and welcome to the Minding My Creative Business podcast, the #1 podcast for creative entrepreneurs to earn strategy, structure, and self-development all in one place. Yes, I said earn, learn, get access to, yes, all in one place. I'm your co-host, Shy Speaks.
And I'm your co-host, Ron Ironically Jr. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that is dear to us, and that is automating the ordinary so that you can focus on the extraordinary. And we do that through a workflow audit. So we're going to show you how to audit what it is that you're doing so that you can maximize.
Right. We're going to talk about the importance of it. You know, we show you how to do it in the Creative to CEO challenge that we put together, this 5-day challenge for creative CEOs just like yourself to go from creative mode to full-on CEO mode. And we give you this workflow audit. It's a really cool process. And we're going to talk about why we do that and how it helps you scale your business and go to the next level with your creative energy. Because we got to make sure we're not just talking about business all the time. We're talking about energy as well. You know, if you're making that creative juices, keep them available to flow, but they're not available to flow if you're always bogged down, then you always have a bottleneck, right? So you want to have fewer bottlenecks, you know, and more creative time.
Yeah, because like I said, if you in the weeds, nobody wants to be in the weeds. So just to kind of set the tone for what we're about to discuss, Adobe. So anybody, you know, if you are a photographer, videographer, right, you know what Adobe is if you're creative in certain aspects. But Adobe did a study and they were saying that 70% of the people that they surveyed said that by automating certain tasks, right, that they were able to increase their collaboration and increase their workflow and output.
Yeah. I mean, and I believe it. Yeah. I believe it because I've experienced it, right? So for me, for example, I used to say, I always want to just work 4 days. I don't need to be working 5 days or more. I want to work 4 days. And that 5th day, I can work on like personal development. I can work on like just other creative things. Or if I'm making Fridays that day, I can take Monday and make that my free day. Whichever way I go, I just want 4 working days and one that but I couldn't do that because I was always working on everything. And one of the things that I would work on, me being an artist at the time, that was my primary income. Most artists are, they're touring and their bookings. I'd be like spending one day focusing on answering all the emails, and I mean, I would answer emails regularly, not just on that day. But I make sure I go through and touch any emails from all the booking inquiries I have. I make sure some people who needed a contract, some people needed something changed or did something with the contract. I'm working on that day. And it's like, oh, who all needed an invoice? I'm sending the invoices. I'm checking to see that they pay their deposit on that day. I was like, oh, let me make sure I put this on my calendar because they've already confirmed the booking. Oh, and so you hear this is the same thing I had to do every single booking. So I got to the point where I was like, I need to
Yeah.
automate this. Because if you're touching something 2 to 3 times, it's maybe time for you to go ahead and automate. Like I know that automation word feels like I got to sit down and mess with some kind of tool or software. This is going to be like, it's going to be business and me and admin and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to take away from my energy. But it's really, once it's installed, it's going to give you that energy back. And so back to this booking situation, I was like, oh man, I need to figure out a way to save hours. You know what I mean? I need to save time. And so you can literally spend 1 hour just working on one booking, just because you got to do it. It's a contract and this, the follow up, you know, and then sometimes after the booking, you need to follow up and say, hey, how did it go? Thank you for having us. Is we look forward to any feedback. And if you give us positive feedback, okay, cool. We would love for you to make a referral to any other people that we could go work with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's this stuff that you need to do. And I was like, I need to automate that. So one day I said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work on an automated system, a streamlined system. And I took to the tool that I have called Savant Sync, right? The software company that founded. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let me go in here and like figure out something. Now, at this time, I hadn't founded the tool. Right. I was just creating the tool. I was just creating something. Yeah. And after I created it, I got to the point where I was like, oh man, this is like saving me hours. Yeah. And then I could share this to other creative entrepreneurs and other artists so that it saved them hours. Yeah. Right. I put a whole course behind it because I was like, this is so cool. I just saved 5 hours. And where I used to work 5 days a week, I don't, because I now have 5 hours on Friday that I can just take to work on like personal development, reading, doing like, you know what I'm trying to say? I finally was able to achieve that. And not only was I able to achieve it, other people were able to achieve it. And I feel like what I built in the system, I was like, okay, I need to turn this into a software, and this software needs to turn into like something that I could sell to people outside of just the bookings, but the overall streamlined system. And so that's kind of how Savant Sync came about. So not only did it save me time, it actually helped me create like a whole nother entity, a business model and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely.
So even that, and talking about it saving you time. Yeah. Like what was like your biggest payoff for you having that time saved with just that alone?
Yeah, just that alone. So the biggest payoff was like, okay, I have this, I just read up 5 hours. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of me working on this every single day for a total of once an hour every day for 5 hours, I no longer have that. That's clear time on my schedule. And so now I was like, oh, I'm available to do more like revenue generating things. Like, for example, I can work on writing grants on this day, you know, or applying rather for grants, or looking for grants to have somebody on my team to apply for. I told my publicist, I was like, when she says like, hey, are you available? Sometimes she lets me know in advance, like, hey, can you make this appearance? It'll be good for business. It'll be good for optics. And I'm like, I can't do it because I'm just working on this. I'm always working on that. I'm behind my computer. I was able to tell her like, yeah, if you have stuff that comes up, pops up in the middle of the week, don't feel free to ask me if I can come, because I know I got an extra hour or two that I've saved. Right. So now I'm appearing places. Now we're talking about partnerships, like as far as sponsorships are concerned, partnerships. I'm able to have meetings with people. It's like, man, can we work on a partnership? Yeah. I mean, or I'm able to go work on sponsorships, right? Sponsorships help bring revenue into the business. So just that extra 5 hours made me say to people, I can say yes more.
Right. Right. So even that, so that drives me to asking, so when you were in the weeds, right, doing those tasks, right? Like how did that make you feel? I mean, because you're doing it, and it's helping you to get to, you know, revenue, but it's like, how did you feel opposed to when you put the automation in place, you felt? Because I just sensed, even in you explaining it, there was a
it was different, because I was like, I used to have to tell my publicist, like, let me know in advance so I can put it on my schedule, but sometimes she was like, hey, I had an opportunity, you can go appear here. And it's like, oh man, I made this appearance, I was able to be in this magazine impromptu, or be on this podcast, be on this radio station impromptu, and it kind of like circulated. I found out I got a lot of followers, new business came in simply because I was able to partake in that. And it like, that is really cool, because I'm not just doing this. I felt when I was doing the work of it all, I felt productive. Yeah. I felt busy. Yeah. But that's why I opened the episode by saying, if you're always busy, you probably are not building. Yeah, I was busy.
Right.
But I wasn't building what I was really trying to build because I really wanted a company that had good publicity. It had a good, I wanted that. I wanted a company that had sponsorship.
Yeah.
In order to have the sponsorships, you have to meet with the sponsors and come up with packages and things that you're going to be able to give them, deliverables to make this a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
I wanted grants, right? In order to do that, I need to have time to work on the grant, apply for the grant. So I actually felt busy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I felt busy. I felt like I was being productive,
Right.
but I really wasn't being productive in the right way. I wasn't building what I was really want to be. And when I go do interviews and having fun, that's actually refreshing for me. That's energizing. I was doing these tasks and it was helping me make money because it was leading towards an end goal. But it wasn't something that was like as exciting as sitting down talking about a collaboration between me and this sponsor.
Yeah.
I was able to get a sponsorship and a partnership with Beyond Meat, right? For example, this is a side note. We wouldn't even plan on talking about.
No, I had to ask you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
But Beyond Meat, and it was because like I put out this musical content called Free Lunch Fridays, and these Free Lunch Fridays, I always spotlight vegan and vegetarian restaurants. That's how I eat most often, and that's what I encourage people to do most often as well. And so Beyond Meat saw me tagging them and using them, and they were like, "Hey, we like what you're doing, the demographic you're serving. Let's talk about a partnership." But if I was too busy,
Right.
I wouldn't even have time to hop on that impromptu call to talk about said partnership. Because I'm like, I still got to send this invoice. I still got to send this invoice. I still got to send this contract. I still got to follow up on this email because they asked me to send over my W-9, or they needed me to send over my headshots and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, man, I'm touching all this stuff too much. How can I automate this stuff? Like, how can I get in some kind of way? And that's when I start streamlining. Created a system where all I have to do in 1 or 2 taps, right? I just go in the system, I approve it. Once I approve it, it then sends the invoice automatically. It sends the contract automatically. It then, after that, after they respond, there's an email that goes out. Once the booking is confirmed, we have their deposit or we have their contract. It sends them an email that's saying like, hey, we know in advance you're probably going to ask us for this W-9. We know you're going to ask for this. So we send that type of stuff. And this is like the beauty of automation for me. It freed up so much time. So I felt busy, but I wouldn't build it.
No, and you got to that point because you did something that we've talked about is you did an audit, right? You did a review and an audit and saying, okay, cool, this is what I'm currently doing, but this can be simpler, right?
Yeah.
So it's the workflow audit, or that workflow audit is first you got to audit it, right? Once I audit, then I'm seeing what can be automated, delegated, eliminated, or needs to be elevated.
Right.
And that's what you were able to do. You was like, okay, cool. I can automate this task here. I'm sure you delegated some things as well. We're not gonna talk about, this episode is about automation, but still delegation is still a part of that workflow, right?
Yeah, that's why we want to audit, yeah.
Exactly, that's why we want to audit. So some things that can be delegated, but some things that can be automated. So I automated these tasks, I delegated these tasks, I probably eliminated some. Then that allowed for me to elevate, but then not only did I elevate it, but I also elevated certain things because now the things that elevate me, that energize me, I was able to do, right? And it created more. I was able to increase and maximize my input and my output as a result of me wanting doing that audit.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about, that workflow audit. And then I'm happy that you asked me about that because you're auditing your processes, but it's almost like auditing your energy. That's why you're asking about how it's felt, right? And so, and that's the same thing, like we want you to feel like if you're watching this, we want you to feel energized by what you're doing. You're still getting it done. I'm still getting all that stuff done. And of course I did delegate it. I have a booking coordinator. I have a booking manager. I approve it and then some stuff happens. Stuff happens with the delegation, but then it's not all on them either. It's some automation that's in place, right? And so we automated some of the boarding systems. We even eliminated some stuff. It was like, that's dragging on the conversation too much. There's going to be a lot of back and forward. Let's just go ahead and, so we were able to really look at it. So when we talk about a workflow audit, like, I'm not going to do that. Like,
listen, you got to do that.
Yeah.
It's imperative.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, so I had a similar situation, right? This was during the pandemic. So this was during the pandemic when I, kind of was leading into me coaching.
Yeah.
And what was the platform? The talking platform. Clubhouse. Yeah, so our Clubhouse, met a young lady on Clubhouse. And we got together because she focused on operations. This before me and you started getting it in.
Yeah.
And we did a workfall audit. You know what I'm saying? She was like, so I want you to, we had a sticky, one of the sticky tabs. So, but she was like, I want you to go in there and write everything. I worked your whole process, your whole flowing process, everything that you personally touch.
Yeah.
I need you to write it in red.
Yeah.
Anything that's delegated, automated, or somebody else does, write it in green.
Yeah.
When we was done with that thing, I want to say at least 95% was red. She was like, you bleeding, sir.
Wow.
That's literally, she said, you bleeding.
Wow.
Like, you doing too much. So you got to make some adjustments.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
90%.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I was focusing in solopreneur mode. So even if you're a solopreneur, you still don't got to do everything, right? There's things that you can automate.
Exactly.
I want to know the one thing that's holding most creative entrepreneurs back? It's not the talent. It's not even the vision. It's the lack of capital. Every day I watch brilliant creatives miss life-changing opportunities simply because they can't access business funding. Traditional banks, they really don't understand creative business like that. And most lenders, well, they don't care. But guess what? That ends today with the Minding My Creative Business partnership with Credit Savant. You can access up to $150,000 in business credit. You heard correct. Up to $150,000 in business credit. They have 0% interest options with 30 plus funding programs designed for creatives just like you. So what I need you to do is visit creditsavant.io now. Tell them MMCB sent you.
Ultimately, this workflow audit helps you balance what you're passionate about and what the processes are. Because the reason why you're doing 90% of it, because I'm passionate about it. I like doing it. You're coaching creative entrepreneurs, you enjoy it, and it's like there's some other tasks that just comes with it. As you upload this spreadsheet, I got to do this, I got to send them the invoice, I got to do. There's so many.
Calendar invite, then you got to send them the contract, you got to send them the question. I'm manually emailing every little thing.
Yeah, and you're willing to do it because you're passionate about it.
Exactly.
But it's like, just as I'm passionate about it, I need to find a balance in like what this process entails. You know what I'm saying? Some of that stuff in red, we could be like, we'd be able to eliminate that. We don't even need that. Some of this stuff in red, you need to go ahead and get you an assistant. We're going to delegate it to that person. Or also, you need this contractor, and we're going to delegate this to this particular contractor. Because sometimes the contractor, I talked about it, the publicist, and other times the contractor is a social media firm, or maybe sometimes the contractor is, you can fill in the bud. Like whatever it is, I don't have to hire a full-on employee to do it. So for example, maybe the contractor is a project manager, right? Because this is literally, I do this group coaching cohort, for example, and it's literally just 6 months. And so I just need somebody to help me with this project. I don't need them all year. I just need this time frame or this. And so boom, I'm going to get a project coordinator. I'm going to contract them, and they're going to handle this, this, and this. I literally do that. I have a project coordinator that I bring in from time to time on various projects. And I say, this is your world, this is your world, this is your world, right? So I'm delegating that. But then there's even things that I'm putting in that's in their world. Just because I've delegated it, here's a secret. Just because you delegate something to somebody, and it's like, okay, I've delegated, I don't need to automate it. That's not true. Just because it's in their wheelhouse, it doesn't mean that they may not look at it and say, okay, these things you gave me, we can put some automation on some of this stuff. Is there a way for when they fill out a form to automatically send them an email reply back just thanking them, but not just thanking them, go ahead and put this information in it? It's something they may ask you. Now, you know what? You're right. It's still in your wheelhouse. You're going to review the form. And you're like, well, they're going to manually send the email. No, they're going to automate this part of the email, and then I'll kick in on the follow-up. I got you. We can get that done. We go into our system, and we make sure we get that automated.
And one of the reasons why this is so important, because like you said, we do it because we love the aspects that we love, right? And that's why we said, when we started, we said, help you automate the ordinary, so those mundane things, those boring things, the things that they got to get done, right? It's like, if I don't schedule this client call, it doesn't get on my calendar and I don't make the call, I lose clients. So I have to do it. But me doing all that stuff manually, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I'm frustrated. I'm irritated. So then when I show up on a call, you're not getting this version of Ron. You know what I'm saying? You're getting the more reserved, tired. Now, eventually I get there, but we don't want to do that. So if I can take this stuff off my plate, put it elsewhere, it's still getting done, right?
Right.
Not that I'm removing it. I'm just putting it elsewhere so that it can get taken care of. So then I can show up in my extraordinary piece.
Yeah.
I can kill it.
Yeah, you can do that. Like, you coach, come up with solutions, ideate, like, plan, give structure, so forth and so on. Like, that's the good stuff for me. When I brought up the media, press outlets, me being on camera talking, sharing passion, I can do that. Me talking to a sponsorship about, man, we're coming up with Beyond Me. What are we gonna do? You know, what can we work out? We came up with something pretty cool, by the way. Me, kind of talking about like a grant, like let's look for grants that actually fit our project or this creative endeavor. Like, I've gotten awarded several grants since then. Prior to then, I wasn't really getting awarded. But it's because I didn't have this people. And there's another thing that I didn't put is the brilliant stuff is the secret sauce, like you're talking about. And so for some people it's writing, for some people it's weaving, for some people it's painting. For me, it is literally writing, right? I'm able to, because of that, I make one day, that very first part of the morning, I can like write. I just can write. And then after I've written whatever I'm going to say, I actually use that same time. I can schedule to go to the studio and record. Or if you already have a studio at home and you got to do voiceovers or whatever your creative is, you have that same space and time. But I wouldn't have been able to carve out that creative day, that creative time. If I had it every day, I always have something that I have to do because of what I get to do. Like, I get to do this creative, talented thing. I'm a caterer. I love the caterer. That's what somebody may say. Is this one of my favorite things to do? They like doing all that part, but it's like customer satisfaction. You got to meet with the client. You got to do the cooking demo, whatever it is, the tasting, the wedding or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I love doing the wedding part, but it's just all these other things that I have to do because of what I get to do. But then it'll become a drain, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what it's for. It's not to make you sit down and be bogged down with something. It's so that after I sit down and I put it in place, eventually it frees up my time to do the big stuff.
So I need for you guys to remember this thing, right? Where systems help you scale. Right? Without those systems, you stay the same, you kind of plateau. And actually, you start to sink, you start to go down. Right, because it becomes weighty, and so that's what it is. If you can get a visual of it, it's be weighty and it's weighing you down, right? And you keep sinking down, right? But once I can take it off me and place it elsewhere, now I can elevate, like we talked about. Audit, automate, delegate, eliminate, so you can elevate, right? And that's what you're doing. You're taking it off you. And placing it somewhere so that you can now elevate, right? And that's what you literally were just describing. I was able to elevate. I was able to get more grants. I was able to get more opportunities. I was able to do more because I took off the stuff that I didn't need to carry. It's like the Bad Lady song. You know what I'm saying?
Bag lady,
you gon' hurt your back.
Getting all them bags like that.
She said, like, let it go. You know what I'm saying?
You got the fact, like, and I see it as you were saying that, like the person is sinking in the water, and as they're sinking down, it's like, okay, let me drop this whole big old rucksack. Oh, I got this on. Let me take this off. And the more I'm eliminating, you know what I'm saying? Or some stuff, you're going to keep it, but I'm going to reshuffle where it is distributed. Like, I'm going to take this and move this right here. And I'm going to hold it in this place. And now it's actually becoming a thing that's helping me stay afloat when it was making me sink. So that's what automation is. Elimination is just eliminating. And then eventually, as you're doing that in the water where you were going down, you just in the water, you're finding yourself elevating. That's a really, really cool analogy. I wish I had a button I could say, oh, that was fire, So, man, I hope you see that. And this is what we really want you to, something I want you to think about. Like, if you have not done a workflow audit where you sit down like what you did and look at everything you're doing in your business, the entire process, identify and read what you've been doing. If you have not done that, you haven't really looked at where your energy is going.
Mm.
You also haven't realized where your process can be improved.
Yeah.
But more so, you're really still hustling.
Mm.
It's just hustle.
I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler.
Yeah, you know, he got all the songs today.
Right.
You know, grind it.
Yeah.
You know, and so you're doing that, but is there harmony in that? You know what I mean? That's the question.
Yeah.
Can you really find harmony in that?
Yeah.
You know?
And the answer is no. I mean, I know it's a rhetorical question, but I mean, you know, it's like no, there's no harmony in that. You know what I'm saying? It's chaotic, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what systems do, right? That's what it does. It organizes the noise or organizes the chaos. It brings clarity to chaos.
Yeah. And so basically, we want you to get this in your mind. Here's why I'm going to do it. I'm going to audit so I can automate, so I can elevate. Now, we put a couple of other words in there a while ago, delegate and eliminate, but ultimately, for this particular conversation, we want you to do an audit so you can know what to automate, so then you can begin to elevate. That's what it's for, right? You're elevating your creative gift. You're elevating your business. You're elevating the things that you're trying to build and what you really want to do when you really embrace automation. Again, automate the boring stuff so that you can create the brilliant stuff.
That's it.
That's what we're talking about.
That's it. Listen. That's it. I'm excited. And it reminds me of our Creative to CEO challenge, right? Because that's one of the things that our goal is within that challenge is to help you to see where you are currently, but take you from where you currently are to where you're trying to get to. Everybody has a goal. Everybody has a transformation. And within that challenge, that's what we do. We help to transform you into not just solely a creative, right? A creative hustler, right? But to a CEO, a creative CEO.
Yes, a creative CEO. So again, if you join that creative to CEO challenge, right? You're going to get this workflow audit that we're talking about in the midst of that, you know. Again, this is 5 days, live coaching, live mentorship. You're going to be a part of a community of other creative CEOs just like yourself who are trying to figure out how can I really elevate. I'm already killing it. Like, I'm already doing it. I'm already killing it. We're not saying you're not doing it. You're not killing it. Because I was already doing it and I was already killing it. I was making revenue, but I hadn't elevated to where I was right here. And eventually, if I didn't, I would start going further down. And so I know you're right there. You're right there. So let's get this workflow audit. But only get the workflow audit is for you to join. Click the link wherever we have it available attached to this video so that you can actually join the Creative to CEO challenge. We would love to have you. It's gonna be
or the audio, right? If you're listening to it,
Yeah, that's-
it's still it's gonna be show notes, so you can still get it within that.
Yeah, shout out to, as a matter of fact, that's what I want to do. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this on an audio platform, wherever you listen to the podcast, thank you so much. We really appreciate you for tuning in. We talk about watching this because we have a video as well. And so if you ever have opportunity, put it up on your YouTube channel, you know, and just go ahead on and watch it. But more so, like wherever you are, just however you show love on that podcast platform, do that for us, please. That's all we ask. And if there's a button for you to share, just tap it. Even if you just text it to one person who you know is a creative entrepreneur who needs to be minding their creative business, send them this. This gives them something to think about. This gives them resources. Today, the payoff of this conversation was literally that you would have a mindset shift to stop thinking that setting up systems is so I'm just not good at. No, it's you set it up so that you can actually have success. You set it up so that you don't sink is what we came up with in this episode.
Yeah.
So
No, and actually in conjunction with one of our other episodes, we talked about meeting rhythms. Automate that, putting that on your calendar. Something that's putting it on your calendar that reminds you. That's an automation.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy you brought that up because that's one of the things I did want to talk about when we say what's an automator. And it's like people think an automation has to be something that's so like crazy. Like setting it on your calendar as an automation, even to sitting down and saying, I have a checklist. This checklist, I'm going to go check 1, check 2, check 3, check 4, all systems go, as most flight pilots would say. They have a checklist. It's not like some kind of like AI or all this kind of fancy old technology. Sometimes it's just a simple thing, and it's set in place, and it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen no matter what, even if you're not thinking about it.
Right.
Like that calendar invite, it's gonna pop up. You know what I mean? So but be willing to do it. But you'll never get to know what I need to set in rhythm if you don't do the audit, right? So you won't know what to automate, you know, and then you won't elevate. Come on, we're just trying to help. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, thank you for listening. If you're watching, thank you for tuning in. And if you've already tapped the link to join the Creative CEO Challenge, definitely thank you for doing that. We look forward to seeing you at the upcoming training. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. Trust me. We put a lot of thought into this. We put a lot of practice into this. We pull from other people's practices. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah, it's gonna be fire. So no, I'm looking forward to it. You know what I'm saying? So once again, thank you as always for being a part of what we're doing. Our goal is to reach 1 million creative entrepreneurs and help them transform and just become impactful with what they're doing. So on that note, I think it's time for us to say goodbye.
Say goodbye? Oh, no. Before we say goodbye, we have to say the mantra. If we're new to the MMCB podcast, every episode ends with us together saying a mantra. Yeah, you can sit here and listen. All the podcasts, you listen to them talk and you're like, that's really good. And you walk away, you haven't said a thing. Nope. Here, you're going to say something because we believe that as you speak, it's informing your belief. And if it informs your belief, it's going to inform your actions. And as it elevates your actions, you're going to go further into the CEO mode that we want you to be in. So here's what's going to happen. I want you to say this mantra with me. I want you to repeat after me. I want you to say out loud. I want you to say it out loud too. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. All it takes
is intention,
consistency, and laser focus to mind my creative business. Yeah. And on that note, we out.
Peace.